And as we come to the absolute worst right now, we have... What is going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back here to another weekly episode of UFC Card Talk. My name is Damien, and this week's episode, I'm going to be getting straight into it. UFC Topps Chrome has finally been announced. Release date, February sometime. That is this month. That's coming up soon. A few weeks, 3 weeks, I think. Pre-sales already hit. And I have been asked by a few people now what my thoughts are on the new look of the release. Once again, was considering not making a video on this for the simple fact of I don't want to be a hater. But here I am making a video anyway. It's relevant, it's UFC cards, so we are going to be talking about it right here, right now. Before I get into this week's episode topic, just want to talk about some upcoming episodes that I will be having on the channel. I will be having the part 2 of my Road to a Grail card. I also will be having a massive mail day coming up as well, along with a video I am going to be talking about how I plan on making money at UFC 300. Now, if you are new to UFC card hobby, if you like content related to UFC cards, then you probably should be hitting that subscribe button right now. And if you enjoy this video, of course, hit that like button and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on my weekly UFC card related videos. Now, UFC Topps Chrome finally announced. No more rumors, no more wondering what's going on. And as I said, I don't like it. Now, before you girls want to come out and call me a hater, then I just want to give a few little disclaimers. Obviously, we haven't seen all the designs and inserts yet. What I've seen so far, I do not like, and I will be going over exactly why I do not like what I've seen so far. And also, too, obviously, Topps Chrome will not be the only product that we will be having for UFC this year. I could only imagine a release in February. We should be getting a couple more releases this year. But I'm going to cross my fingers for some better stuff to come later on in the year. I was a little bit reserved already before the official announcement. I haven't mentioned before when on the topic, I didn't really know what to expect. And that was true. And then I saw it and it really, it really was not what I was expecting at all, and for all the wrong reasons. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over, talk about the release a little bit. There's no checklist yet, but there is a checklist for what parallels and stuff. But before we do that, just got to make a little wardrobe change. Alright, so as we can see, Hater Cap is on today for this episode. First time I've been having it on, but I think it's necessary. So as we head on over to the Cardboard Connection website, as I said, no actual fighter parallel, no fighter checklist release, but there is the base set parallels, etc., the type of inserts we will be expecting. And first and foremost, people have expressed their happiness for a 200 fighter checklist so far of the base set. Now that is pretty typical. Prism also did have a 200 card base set, so I'm not sure why they were happy compared to maybe what they weren't happy with Panini when it's exactly the same. And I, for one, need to state, if we get more cards of Chuck Liddell, Forrest Griffin, BJ Penn, these retired fighters who have not fought in more than 10 years, if we get more cards of those guys in the base sets,
I mean, it's alright, overrated as fuck in my opinion.
Then I am just going to be wearing this hat for the rest of the year, I think, because I'm just so sick of that stuff. Matt Hughes, for example, was in Prism last year, but they didn't want to make a card for Charles Jourdain, a super entertaining guy in the featherweight division who I thought we would have had his Prism rookie last year. But they chose to put a fighter like Matt Hughes on the checklist instead.
You know what though? That's typically how the bullshit goes, you feel me?
Not trying to diss anyone who PCs those guys. I would be actually interested to know, if you are PCing people like Chuck Liddell, BJ Penn, Matt Hughes, Tito Ortiz, Tank Abbott, if you are actually collecting these guys, can you let me know down in the comments below right now if you are actually buying their Panini products, for example, or when you're buying their cards, do you go back to the older Topps stuff that was more relevant in their time of fighting? I would be interested to know that. Let's get back to what I was talking about. Already getting too caught up with this hat on. But we can see set here, the base set parallels. Remember, 200 card base set. Refractor will be 1 in every 3 packs. A prism refractor, not sure what that means, but that's 1 in every 6 packs. The negative refractor, 1 in every 2 packs with the hobby box. The magneta refractor, 1 in every 3 packs. The purple refractor, 1 in every 4 packs. Those last 3 are hobby exclusive. We have the speckle refractor, aqua refractor, blue refractor, green refractor, blue wave refractor, gold refractor, numbered to 50. That is a wrong move. I know there's a few people who also would like to see the gold refractor in a lower serial numbered, somewhere below 25 would have been better. Orange refractor 25, black refractor to 10, red refractor to 5, and the super refractor 1 of 1. So I don't know about you guys, but already off the bat, that is a lot of refractors, and we've got stuff like negative refractors. I've got no idea what these look like. I'm not familiar with Topps in the last few years with other sports, but so far, not that great. We have the tail of the tape. We've seen those before in Topps. They were a very, very popular card. Basically, I'm not sure if these are going to be the same, but tail of the tape was a product where they used actual fight used tape, and they put a little piece of that fight used tape underneath the gloves into a card. To have them refractors, gold refractors, black refractors, red refractors, super refractors, I'm not sure if that's the same thing or they just put a spin on the name. We've got the Topps, we've got the AKA, we've got the Super Giant, we've got the International Flair. And before I get to this, yeah, we'll move on now. All right, just so you guys have got that in your picture. We'll go over to the boxes now. They were pre-sale for $220 US, I believe. I heard some people, Matt, for example, Golden Octagon had problems, and some of his viewers also had problems ordering the products. But now it is sold out, I do believe. Let's click back here. And we can see it is sold out. Now, let's get into the specific artistry that we've seen, the inserts that we've seen so far. Starting here at the first, I do believe this is what the base chrome autograph will be looking at. Whether this is a refractor or not pictured, I'm not sure. This, in my own opinion right now, is probably the only real acceptable design that I've seen. I could imagine how nice this one would probably look in a gold refractor, for example, or maybe some of the colored ones. Once again here, we have an image of a fighter, Manuel Cape. It's going to be his rookie card. We have the fist coming outside of the border of the card. I'm not sure if that's just me or not, but from an aesthetics point of view, I don't like that. Like, why have a border if you're just going to cross it anyway? That would be I'm sure not every fighter is going to be having that problem with their image, but that's just my first initial thought. And then we can see here, we have these little octagons. We have the Octagon RC logo back, but these are like quarter cutout images of octagons that are put on the borders. That's fine enough, not a real big problem for me on this design, but I'm going to have a problem with that moving forward. Let's move on. This Conor McGregor here, I'm not sure what this insert will be called. As a part of an image of Conor, not bad. The text leaves a lot to be desired. Very, very basic. Not a fan of what's going on here in the background. The zoomed image of the bigger image. It reminds me of those stare downs that Panini had last year in Don Russ, which got absolutely destroyed by the community. Massive UFC logo here on this design. Once again, not really sure that's necessary. We can obviously buy a box of UFC cards and know that it's UFC without having a massive UFC logo there. We'll move on. Not the worst. This one is probably equally as the worst. If it's not the worst, it's the second worst. Youth Quake. Youth Quake.
Gay!
Where did we come up with an insert called Youth Quake? Not only that, Youth Quake, I'm not a massive, like, super obsessive about designs and lines and things like that, but my problem here is we have all these lines and border going this way, and then we have this obviously earthquake radar Richter scale thing they're trying to do here in the middle with lines pushing out the opposite way of this lines. Put that with the overall photo of Erin Blanchfield here. I don't collect Erin Blanchfield. And once again, if you collect Erin Blanchfield, which I'm sure there is somebody out there watching my video right now who collects Erin Blanchfield, can you please let me know, if you're a collector of Erin Blanchfield, would you be happy with this overall image of Erin on this card? She has a hand up. She looks like she just got the worst news of her life. I'm not sure at what point of a fight this was or whatever, but yeah, too many things wrong with this card to begin with. And if we go back here, we can see these Youth Quakes are super short prints. So not just short prints, super short prints. So they're a special one to have if you ask Topps designers. That card looks absolutely terrible in my opinion. Once again, guys, let me know what you girls, should I say, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Not the absolute worst, but, and as we come to the absolute worst right now, we have this card of John Jones. I don't mind that UFC logo there with the octagon. I don't mind the banner. I don't mind the text. But everything else, what are we doing? For those of you who cannot see, we have a triangle with the name of the insert, which is actually called Spitting Venom. That's right, guys. We have an insert for UFC cards from Topps 2024. The massive comeback of Topps Chrome UFC, Spitting Venom. What are we doing? Spitting Venom. What sort of relevance is that to do with the cards that we want to have? Spitting Venom. Alright, here we go. I'm going to come up with a better insert with this within 5 seconds. We're going to have an insert called Close Call, and it's going to depict an image of a fighter who got robbed in a split decision, and it's going to be a picture of them looking like, what the hell just happened, when the judges announced the scorecard in favor of the other fighter. Think Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. Picture of Jared Gordon, how he looked exactly when the decision got read out by the judges, and we're going to call it Close Call. That is a pretty terrible idea. Maybe it's a good one. You guys tell me no, but I still can guarantee you for a fact that is better than Spitting Venom. We're not depicting cards of rappers. If this had an image of Ice Cube, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Spitting Venom, sign me up, I'll buy that card. But this is UFC, Spitting Venom with a cobra. Yeah, well, you guys get what I'm going on about. Move on. This one.
Bruh.
This is not the worst, but it is far, far, far from the best. The colors, the overall geology that we have going on in the background here with some molten lava or fire and then some depicted slate earth. Not really sure what's going on here right now. But that is what I think is wrong with that card. Don't mind the Octagon of Honor with the champion and the belt and obviously the autograph along with the text here. No problems with that. But these earthy colors of lava and molten and slate and things like that, just terrible. And then we move on to the Super Refractor. Once again, don't mind the gold vinyl swirly refractor they got going on here, but when you're putting it on this bordered edge of those octagons, the quarter octagons that they've cut and pasted here on the edges, just not a fan at all. And this is the premier card that you want to get in this product, the gold vinyl. And then we have the Future Stars, which we have seen from 2019 Topps Chrome before. This one, definitely not the worst. Don't mind the colour. Got the, obviously, stars there going on. The sticker auto placed at an angle. Leaves, like for Paddy, doesn't look too bad. He has a 3-letter autograph. But you could imagine someone with a longer autograph could be a little bit of a problem for some people. But as I said, this is not far from the worst. We have seen this one before, as I mentioned, in Topps Chrome 2019. Pretty similar. Don't mind the Future Stars. Just, it's something a little bit different, at least. I'll give that to him, comparing to what we've seen. So, after all that said, we'll be interested to hear from you guys and girls in the comments down below. What do you think about UFC Topps Chrome? Are you excited? Did you buy a box? Let me know down in the comments below. As I said, I would understand if this video does not resonate with everyone. That is quite alright, to each their own. I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with Panini. I didn't think Panini was perfect either. And I do think it is interesting to wonder about now, would Panini be making unlicensed UFC cards moving forward? Hard to know. We'll have to wait and see. Is there room for 2 UFC products moving forward? Let me know what you all think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again here next week at UFC Card Talk.